Hello everybody, this is NinjaValue and I'm really excited to go through this topic today, as well as to hear feedback on me speaking more slowly. So, today brings with it a couple of things, or it's actually yesterday now as I wrote this script across 2 days and it'll be even longer when you hear it. Firstly, it brought Winston and I onto Uchu to have a playthrough. I was beginning to write this script whilst he made donated dinner, having just had mine in the middle of our playthrough before we went to keep going, because I am really excited about something that he just released into Uchu, which is this, server Python scripting. For those of you who know Minecraft, this is somewhat equivalent to Forge being released. It is really big in my opinion. Sure, it was possible to make and load mods previously, but Forge provided a single centralized platform into which you could plug any mods rather than having to plug them directly into the game code. It made everything so much easier and meant that modding the game became something anybody could do. Previously, I'd worked on a project in Jailers, to which I've alluded a lot in the past, which was meant to be a well-run, secure PvP server, and the aim was to use PvP to fill the replayability gap left by a lack of features, specifically AI. And the whole issue with a lack of features in general has meant that so far there hasn't been a public server which has been released that has necessarily been able to hold people for a long time. I've discussed in previous videos how public servers actually have a tendency to lose people to the OU community as nostalgia wears off fairly quickly if there's nothing else to do. The idea was this would be an alternative to that. However, this meant that I had to work in C++, a language in which I still have no experience, and update the code I was writing whenever there was an update to the main Jailers branch. It wasn't a great process, mostly because I was having to interface directly with existing code. And then I accidentally deleted my branch at one point, but we'll leave that out. Which is why I'm making today's video. Because recently, it was yesterday as of recording this, Winston released documentation for the Python scripting capabilities he's been demonstrating on Uchu, and I think this is a truly huge opportunity. There are probably quite a few of you out there watching this video who know about programming from some point in your lives. You might join the community, might look at some server code like I did, but pretty quickly most people realise that large server code is really quite different to the experience you may have had in the past. Sure, some people have that experience, but far fewer people have experience working with large object-oriented programming projects than those who have learnt, say, Python at school. And this is where that ability can come in useful, because Uchu is a pretty impressive server, and I'm sure you've heard me mention that in previous videos. Sure, it has bugs and glitches. The video that Vice will be editing soon of a 4.5 hour playthrough we did definitely proves that. We certainly had to relog a lot and ended up just running away from moving platforms because we think they were causing some sort of glitch. But unlike previous servers such as Jailers, it has compatibility for security features like LCDRs, TCP UDP mods, and it is far more stable. I don't think we had a single crash in the playthrough, which is something unheard of for the good old multiplayer Jailers tests. And so the point is that we now have a stable base which is being regularly updated, which allows us to add code, to add our own mods as a community on top of the server code, which won't need to be reprogrammed with every update. I am going to strongly urge anyone listening to this video with any programming experience to check out the documentation. My first port of call is programming a free-for-all PvP tournament system in it, honouring my old Jailers project, but the possibilities are truly huge, and anyone with programming experience can do this. This is brilliant. I have a partially written script at the moment to explain why I haven't posted any setup tutorial videos on this channel, and I don't think this is going to change that, but I may now actually post a tutorial video explaining how to get started with writing server mods on Uchu, because I really believe this has a huge amount of potential, and that with the amount of talent we have in this community, we could really make some impressive things. And hopefully, with enough work on this, we could actually have a public server which is fun to play, which is stable, which is secure, and I think that would be amazing. I've wanted that for so long in the community, so yeah. And with that, please check out the documentation, which will be in the description for this video. As always, I'll recommend you check out the developer channels, which will also be in the description, and to just support the devs in general. In particular, sometime soon, Winston and I will hopefully be able to get the footage from our playthrough onto our channels, so stay tuned to see us mucking around with an LU prop hunt, with PvP, and yeah, running terrified from moving platforms. Anyway, I've been NinjaValue, thank you for listening, and happy modding.